The man with the hot hand at Busch Grand National Series Racing, 36-year-old Portland, Oregon driver Chuck Bound. 6 wins this year, the current point leader. Bobby Labonte, the youngster, starting on the front row on the pole for the second time this year. He has slid back to third in the point standings. How competitive is the field? The man who has won 2 of the last 3 races. This one, Steve Grissom, will start shotgun in 31st spot. Steve Grissom hoping to go to the front. Exciting Busch Grand National Racing coming your way under the lights next. But the lights are ablaze here in Thunder Valley. We're at Bristol International Raceway. Side tonight, 250-lap Busch Grand National Series event, the J. Johnson 250. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with 2-time NASCAR champion Ned Jarrett. And Ned, this is a race the fans love to come see all year long. They think about this race here, running at night on the high banks. It's sort of like WrestleMania on a half-mile track. The drivers figure the one who survives at the end will go to victory lane.
Well, it's always exciting, no question about that. And you have to drive more aggressively on this track, Jerry, I think, than any other track on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit. The speeds are very high on the 36-degree banking here at the half-a-mile Bristol International Speedway. They put a new sealer on the track for this race, and the drivers are a little bit apprehensive about it. It has been a little bit slippery in practice and qualifying, but they feel once they get into the race that the cars will stick better than ever before. One thing about it, it will make for some very exciting races. So, fans, buckle up your seatbelt.
Indeed, the drivers are getting buckled up down trackside as the engines have already been fired. Elton Sawyer getting a look inside that car. He has got his seat belts all buckled. Let's take a look at the Sears Die-Hard starting grid as the field rolls away. Front row, Bobby Labonte, the youngster, along with the veteran Tommy Ellis. Row 2, remember that accident Michael Waltrip had back in the spring? And the 4-time All-American Challenge Series champion Dave Mader. Back to row 3, Bobby Hamilton, an up-and-coming young driver in the sophomore season, and Elton Sawyer you just saw a minute ago. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Kenny Wallace, inside of row 4, and a man who has been making some impressive runs the past couple of weeks, Robert Presley. Back to row 5, the veteran Tommy Houston, 4 wins on the year, and Winston Cup regular Ernie Irvin, always exciting on the short tracks. Rookie driver Bobby Moon inside row 6, along with veteran Rick Mass. Back to row 7, Jimmy Hensley, so strong earlier in the year on ESPN up at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and the man with the hot hand, Chuck Bound. Back to row 8, Dale Jarrett and Billy Standry. Row 9, yes, it's Dale Earnhardt all the way back in row 9, along with Dave Resendez. You look at the rest of the field here, a tremendous starting lineup here. And as important as who's in the starting lineup is who's not. How about it, Benny Parsons?
Jerry Punch, you mentioned Steve Grissom, who's won 2 of the last 3 Busch Grand National races, had to use a provisional. Harry Gant, folks, you know Harry Gant. He wins these Busch Grand National races consistently. He didn't make the show. Morgan Shepherd, who won this race in 1987, did not make the show. It was an unbelievably competitive qualifying, 0.4 of a second between the first and the 30th place qualifier. Ned talked about being aggressive on the racetrack in the pits. That's where they're going to have to be aggressive as well. A good pit stop may determine who wins, who loses. Guys?
Indeed, Benny Parsons. Ned, when can you remember that Morgan Shepherd wouldn't make the starting lineup? Harry Gant wouldn't be in it. Jack Ingram, the 5-time national champion, wouldn't be in it. So it indicates what a strong field we indeed have tonight.
Super competitive field, no question about it, Jerry. And Morgan Shepherd is the biggest winner on this racetrack. He has 6 victories in Busch Grand National competition here.
There's a look at the car number 3, the Goodrich Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt. And that's the car he won with earlier in the year on ESPN at North Carolina Motor Speedway, one of our earlier telecasts. Now, of course, Earnhardt starting back in the 9th row. This racetrack, it's a tough one. 0.533 miles, banked some 36 degrees. At tonight's race, 250 laps. The field separation is 7.7 seconds, and the pole speed 114.850 miles an hour. A little over 16.5 seconds, Ned. Not a long time for a lap here. We're getting set to go green here. 250 laps of slam bang racing action. The cars coming out of turn 4. Pete Bound getting ready to wave the green flag, and we're underway here at Bristol International Raceway. Getting some pressure. Bobby Labonte, an impressive young driver in his sophomore season, has yet to get that elusive first Winston Cup or first Busch Grand National Series win, showing the way in the Penrose Sausage and Oldsmobile. But behind him, the veteran Michael Waltrip. That's the Kool-Aid Maxwell House Pontiac.
And there's trouble here on the front straightaway. Patty Moise has fun down to the inside of the racetrack.
Patty's Buick, number 45, looped around. Comes to rest against the inside pit wall, and she gets the car fired. Caution flag flying for the first time here this evening at Bristol International Raceway. And of course, there's a look at Patty Moise. Some interesting news from her earlier tonight. She announced her engagement to fellow Busch Grand National Series driver Elton Sawyer.
Well, congratulations to the two of them. Two of the nicest people in all of auto racing.
Indeed they are. Now I got to wonder if they get down to a last lap battle, there's going to be trouble in that household during the week.
Yeah, I can imagine. Let's see if we can pick it up as she comes out of turn 4. Remember, she's driving a blue car. Here she is, and it looks like the back end just goes out from under as she comes off of turn 4 down to the inside. Unfortunately, no one else involved.
Under caution here for the first time tonight at Bristol International Raceway in the early laps of the J. Johnson 250. Lots of laps coming your way. Stay tuned. They call it here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee. An exciting 250-lap Busch Series event. Coming out of turn 4, green flag waves once again for Bobby Labonte. Single file, they'll head to turn 1. Bobby Labonte in the car number 44, showing the way. Here's an Oldsmobile. Then comes Michael Waltrip in the Pontiac, car number 30.
Boy, you can just hear how fast those cars are coming as they come off of the turn, Jerry. They reach speeds of about 125 on the straightaways, but only slow down to about 100 in the center of the turns. These high banks will let them run through there very fast.
You can literally hear that high-pitched whine of those V6 engines, 274 cubic inch engines in these cars that weigh a little over 3,000 pounds. A lot lighter than their Winston Cup counterparts.
The front two cars, Bobby Labonte and Michael Waltrip, have pulled away from Tommy Ellis, who is running in third place. A little surprising that we'd see a couple of cars move away as close as the field was in qualifying.
Now there's Dave Mader in the car number 56. You saw him just a minute ago. He's running back in the 4th spot. Front two cars going by. Then comes the car number 99. That is Ellis. Then comes Mader in the 56. The car number 8 behind him. In 5th is Bobby Hamilton. Great battle going on back in the pack. Here's Kenny Wallace, 7th, 8th, 9th. Kenny Wallace, the car number 36. Tommy Houston, the veteran, in the car number 6. And Ernie Irvin. What a show he put on at Indianapolis Raceway Park on ESPN. Ernie Irvin driving the black and orange numeral car number 75.
He is a very aggressive race driver, just looking for some room to run. He taps Houston a little bit going into the turn. That's Rick Mask in car number 22 right behind him, and then Robert Presley behind. And Houston gets tagged, and around he goes right in front of the fast cars coming down into turn 1.
A lot of cars spinning down in turn 1. Heavy contact. Dale Jarrett is involved at barrier, and the leader's now coming out of turn 4. As we are under caution, Tommy Houston car getting tagged, getting out of shape in the front straightaway, almost saved it. The car loops around, and now some heavy damage. There's Dale Jarrett getting his car refired. Let's take a look again at what happened here coming out of turn 4, Ned.
Okay, we saw the tightness of those cars. There's Kenny Wallace in front, Tommy Houston, car number 6, running right behind him, and Ernie Irvin coming up trying to make a move, and he taps Houston just a little bit, gets Houston out of shape. Houston can never get it back under control and spins going into turn 1 right in front of a big pack of cars that were barreling down there at well over 100 miles an hour.
Take a look at another angle here. Houston literally trying to control this car at speeds of 120 miles an hour on the 36-degree bank. Is coming out of turn 4 again, just behind Kenny Wallace. And there's Irvin getting back in line, but he does nudge the Buick of Tommy Houston. Houston tries to go back to the left. The steering wheel turning hard left, now hard right, but the rear end of the car comes around. And then it's Katie bar the door down in turn 1. Cars sliding. There's the 25 of Hensley. Just getting through. Chuck Mahon, an excellent move. That's the orange number 63 moving by, the red car rather. Some 5 or 6 cars coming into contact, and now these cars will make an entry on the pit road and try to get some service done. There's Tommy Houston in the Roses Buick. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
They're going to change the right sides and make sure that there's no sheet metal against the tires. They might as well do this, guys, because he would have to start at the rear of the pack. He might as well start with 4 new tires and to make sure that there is no sheet metal against the tires. They're not going to change the left side because they're afraid they're going to get lapped. He'll probably come in the next time and change the left.
There had been a ruling, Ned, earlier in Busch Series racing that they would not have a tire rule, and tonight it's different.
Yes, I'm sure that there's some fans out there who are accustomed to Busch Grand National Racing that knows that they can't change tires normally. There's Dale Jarrett in the Nesbitt's Crunch car end, and his crew looks over his car. He's got a banged-in right rear quarter panel on that car. But normally they can't, on short tracks, they can't change tires during a caution, but the tire rule was waived here tonight because of the new sealer that's on the track, not knowing what the tire wear would be. So Robert Black, the director of Busch Grand National Competition, says, okay, we'll waive the tire rule tonight, change as many as you want to.
Getting a look at some of the damaged cars here in the second caution flag of the evening at Bristol International Raceway. Our leader, Bobby Labonte. Labonte showing the way along with Michael Waltrip and Tommy Ellis and others in the chase. A lot of laps to come your way. Stay with us. On hand under the lights tonight to watch exciting Busch Grand National Series racing action. A 23rd stop on the 31-race $4 million Busch Tour. Tonight, Speedway coverage from Bristol International Raceway, brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Purelator, the world's largest filter company. And by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. Getting ready to go green here. Second caution flag of the night. A major spin that in turn 2. Tommy Houston and Ernie Irvin coming together. Houston's car spun. Among the other cars collected, of course, Tommy Houston involved. Dale Jarrett getting some sheet metal damage. And a number of pit stops by Rick Mast here under the caution. Pontiac safety car beginning to pull away down in turns 3 and 4. As now Ernie Irvin's car a lap down, being pulled to the outside. Now he is one of the strong horses. Green flag flies. Pete Babb on the flag stand waving green, and Bobby Labonte pulls away. Going inside, Elton Sawyer's car, the Gwaltney's in car. That's Elton Sawyer back in the pack there. Elton Sawyer having a good run early on. Really fighting the steering wheel on those 36-degree bankings.
And here is Elton Sawyer having some kind of problems, Jerry, with the Gwaltney automobile.
Well,
Slow down, smoke coming from it, and it looks like it has blown up on him.
Well, you heard the car sputtering as we were in the in-car. There's a look at Elton Sawyer, the driver of the car number 27, 30-year-old driver from Chesapeake, Virginia. We were inside in the in-car, and you literally heard the car begin to sputter going into turn 1. And there's sparks beneath the car.
And you can see some pieces look like went out from under the car up to the high side of the racetrack, Jerry, but apparently out of the racing groove because we have no caution. So,
and he was in the 6th place at the time. Now Dale Earnhardt trying to make a move, going beneath the car number 36 of Kenny Wallace. He is behind Chuck Bound. Chuck Bound in the car number 63, the Nescafe Pontiac. Earnhardt in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Those guys trying to make their way to the front. And Kenny Wallace having his troubles. He's in the car number 36. He is backing up.
Yeah, and it looks like the inside groove is the place to be. There's Mark Martin in car number 1. Joe Nemechek coming around in car number 87. That was Davey Allison in the white car number 28 trying to make a move. Wallace's car drifting high in the turns. And boy, he is losing a lot of time.
His car pushing way up on the outside. The car number 08, that is Bobby Dotter, the 31 of Steve Grissom, who started 31st on the field, now getting his way up through the pack. Very difficult to pass here at Bristol International Raceway. They put a sealer down here, Ned. A lot of these drivers having the tiptoe early on.
Yes, there was only one groove as they practiced and qualified this afternoon. They were running basically one groove, and everything else was pretty slick. But now they're trying to work other grooves into the track, and I think they will as the night goes on. Here's Kyle Petty in the car number 42, the split-fire spark plug car. Dave Resendez that he's following there in car number 79. Kyle started in 24th position, currently running 10th, so he's making a good run towards the front.
Kyle dragging a little bit of debris there behind his car. Now he finished 3rd here in the spring. One of the strong horses here ran awfully well in practice. Dave Resendez having a good run in front of him in the car number 79. Just behind Kyle Petty, the car number 1, that is Martin Martin. That's one of the few Fords in Busch Series competition. That car won earlier in the year at Myrtle Beach. There's Joe Nemechek there, the car number 87. Davey Allison is a Chevrolet Lumina here. Brand new car from the Allison Brothers Racing Shop. Back up front now, Michael Waltrip beginning to put a little pressure and somewhat of a bumper on the rear of Bobby Labonte out of turn 4.
Michael certainly showing no signs of grading coming back here. Hey, we can't go 3 abreast, guys. Michael backed off. That just won't work.
Well, Michael, at least he learned something from the spring. He wasn't on the outside that time. After his contact with the wall here in the gate. And here's Tommy Ellis, the car number 99, going around Ward Burton in the car number 5. Ward, one of the rookie drivers, had some good runs this year in the Texas Speed car.
Ward got caught up in some heavy traffic back there a moment ago and lost a lot of time. As a result, he's already a lap down. Boy, it don't take long to get a lap down on this racetrack.
4th and 5th place cars on your screen. The 56 car, Dave Mader. That car he has driven now past 5 races. Of course, the car number 8 is Bobby Hamilton, a 3-time track champion at the Nashville Speedway. And the Fairgrounds track reminds Hamilton a lot of this Bristol racetrack, so he's going to run awfully well here. He likes the high banks. Going by the Jack Sprague car, number 34, the Frank Cece racing efforts.
Hamilton now beginning to put some pressure on the Mader car, number 56, as they move around the Jack Sprague car.
Many of you fans who watch the Busch Series racing may remember Ronald Cooper, who used to drive that car, and Ronald decided to spend some time on the family business, and Dave Mader will drive it. Back up front now, Bobby Labonte holding him off. Car number 44. That's the Penrose Firecracker Oldsmobile.
And Jerry, they're coming up on Dale Jarrett, who was involved in the wreck. Tommy Houston right in front of Dale Jarrett. They were running very good before that accident, but apparently their car is not handling very well right now, and both of them are about to go a lap down. Here's a battle. Joe Nemechek, Davey Allison coming under Dave Resendez. When the door is open and the yellow flag is out, there's debris in turn 3. This could be a break for a couple of those cars that were about to go a lap down.
Indeed, caution for the 3rd time today for debris out in turn 3. And you can take a look, and our camera people picking up right up where that small piece of metal has come to rest right in the groove here on lap 37 of Bristol International Raceway. Caution for the 3rd time today. Bobby Labonte showing the way. The 26-year-old Corpus Christi, Texas driver trying to hold on and pick up his first Busch Series win. Being shown to the field for the 3rd time today. Debris up in turn 3. And, of course, taking a look at the front 2 cars, Bobby Labonte and Michael Waltrip running 2nd in the Country Time Pontiac. And, Ned, Jarrett, let's try to see if we can get a word with Michael Waltrip.
Okay, the beautiful car number 30 on the screen here now. Michael, how are things going down there, buddy?
Well, everything's going pretty good, Ned. My car's just a little bit tight, so we're going to try to run about lap 70 or 80 and get us 4 more tires with some different stagger, a load of fuel, and see if we can't go those last 175 or so without stopping. Hopefully get our little Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac Grand Prix in Victory Circle. That's what we're trying to do.
Michael, I got to ask you, the fans saw that tremendous wreck you had here back in April. Any apprehension when you came into the track here and looked at that wall over there in turn 2?
Does this answer your question?
Okay, you just looked away from it. That's great.
No, that wall, you know, that was just a freak deal, and you know, that doesn't mean anything to me. If you're going to race, you're going to wreck. We just happen to have a real bad one, but you know, Bristol's done a good job fixing that gate, so I'm just looking forward to trying to win this race. I'm real kind of disappointed in how we qualified in our Winston Cup car, but we're going to work on it and try to get better, and hopefully this will be a good momentum morale booster if we won here tonight.
Okay, they're giving a signal for 1 more lap to go. Good luck. Go get them.
Thanks, Ned.
So the field circulating behind the Pontiac safety car, and Michael Waltrip showing no ill effects of having tagged that wall. Let's check in the pits quickly with Benny Parsons.
I'm down with Eldon Sawyer, driver of the Walton meets Buick. What happened, Eldon?
Well, Benny, these cars are running aluminum bell housing, and the bell housing broke. Therefore, it knocked the drive shaft out of the car and really messed up the inside sheet metal, also the throwout bearing. It's really a shame because the car was running awful well early in the race, and I thought we had something for him, but won't be today.
That's not supposed to happen to a guy who just asked a girl to marry him, and she said yes.
No, it's not, but I wish Patty a lot of luck. I'll go pull for her now.
Okay, Eldon, thank you.
Patty Moise, of course, his bride-to-be, announcing their engagement tonight. Elton Sawyer has parked it. Patty is still in the field, and we're back to green flag racing. Car number 44, Bobby Labonte showing the way. The car number 75 is Ernie Irvin. He is a lap down, and Michael Walton trying to move inside his fellow Winston Cup competitor. And there's Dale Earnhardt coming all the way up to 6th spot now. Car number 8 of Bobby Hamilton is the 5th place car. Earnhardt making his way to the front, clipping them off one by one.
And right behind him was Robert Presley in car number 59. Robert also making a good run.
And of course, our points leader right behind Robert Presley is Chuck Bound. He is in the bright orange and white Nescafe, car number 63. Strong battle back there.
Gary, we had a report that Tommy Ellis, the engine temperature on his car is running a little high. Tommy currently running in the 4th position. Doesn't appear to be affecting the running ability of his Goo Goo Clusters Buick, but we'll keep an eye on that and see if it does present any problem for him.
And the battle heating up there is Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty trying to make a move inside of Chuck Bound. Chuck Bound's Pontiac. Kyle Petty, the split fire Pontiac. And of course, right behind him, the Carolina Ford dealers colors for Mark Martin, the Bill Davis prepared car.
And Jerry, the last time we saw Kyle Petty and Chuck Bound here on ESPN from Indianapolis, Indiana a few weeks ago, they were on the last lap or coming around to get the white flag where Kane off the turn 4. It was a reverse. Chuck Bound was behind and Kyle Petty. And here's a car going very high. Ernie Irvin going very high. He brings the car back under control.
Kept the car out of the wall down in turns 1 and 2, but apparently had the tires going down, almost spinning in turn 3, and they're on the brakes behind him. That's Earnhardt, Robert Presley. They're trying to get their cars slowed down, and Irvin is trying to hold on. He's back in turn 1. Keeps the car in the middle groove.
Boy, he was about to bottle him up behind him there.
Kyle Petty sneaking beneath Chuck Bound and also trying to make a move beneath him will be the car number 1. That is Mark Martin. Battles all over this track. Only a half a mile in length, and they tour it at 119 miles an hour. Average speed of about 115 miles an hour, 125 on the straightaways. And now Kyle Petty moving beneath Robert Presley.
Boy, he's on the go. Here comes Chuck Bound down on the inside. Once they got Presley up in that second groove, Mark Martin moving by on the inside in the Ford, the Carolina Ford dealers. Sponsored car number 1, Davey Allison right behind him. So, boy, once you get out of that bottom groove, they really take advantage of it.
And Mark Martin, who started back in 25th spot, is now being shown in the 10th spot. Of course, Kyle Petty in the front of your screen. Car number 42 is 8th. Then would come the car of Chuck Bound in 9th. That is Bound in 9th, the car number 63, and then Mark Martin all the way in the top 10.
We saw a little piece of the bumper of Kyle Petty's car flying in the air there. That's not anything that should affect him or anyone else, I don't think.
Field now passing in review. Taking a look down the front straightaway. There toward turn 1. Our leaders now headed out of turn 4. There's Bobby Labonte. Impressive run for this 26-year-old Corpus Christi, Texas driver. Yet to pick up his first Busch Series win. Has had some great runs early in the year, including a second-place finish on ESPN at the ultra-tough Darlington Raceway.
Here's Mark Martin trying to make a move on the Busch Grand National point leader Chuck Bound. Bound slips just a little bit. That's all Mark Martin needed. Moved right under him, and here comes Davey Allison. He'll take advantage of it as well. And there's Steve Grissom in car number 31 moving in there as well.
Grissom, who started in 31st spot, in trouble. Well, they were trying to slow down because Kyle Petty's car had spun or nearly spun out of turn 2, and they saw that. Mark Martin was on the brakes. Kyle, of course, behind him, Davey Allison. Great run for the car number 31, Steve Grissom, winner of 2 of the last 3 Busch Series events, starting way back in 31st spot, now being shown just outside the top 10.
Well, the Robert Presley car is having some problems. The car number 59 that was running up there in the top 10 for a little while, he has dropped down on the inside and losing a lot of positions.
Battle now up front for the 5th spot. Bobby Hamilton in the Oldsmobile car getting a little bit loose and getting a little help from the car number 3, Dale Earnhardt. They are battling for 5th. Earnhardt starting way back in 17th spot, trying to crack the top 5.
He's running 6th. Bobby Hamilton running in the 5th position. Earnhardt trying to take it away. And Jerry, you remember I said at the top of the show that you've got to drive aggressively on this racetrack? Nobody drives more aggressively than Dale Earnhardt, and he's showing that tonight, trying to move up through the pack.
Indeed, that is the case, trying to move inside of the car number 8. Bobby Hamilton down the backstretch, and Earnhardt jumps in the throttle and out breaks him out, gasses him actually into turn 3. Takes the 5th spot away.
While this battle is going on, Robert Presley, I mentioned, has slowed. He is in the pits now in the car number 59, and he'll go at least 1 lap down. His crew's changing the right side tires on it, we'll tell you that. And Michael Walker spins down the front straightaway, bangs into the wall, and comes the rest down on the inside. It looked like he got tangled with the lap cars that came off of turn 4, Jerry.
Tough break for Michael Waltrip, the car number 30, the Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac, just not getting a break here at Bristol International Race. Well, let's take a look, Ned, again.
Okay, here's the leader, Bobby Labonte, and there is Tom Peck in car number 96. Here comes Waltrip trying to come down on the inside, and they get together as he comes off of there, off of turn 4. Tries to straighten the car out, similar to what Tommy Houston did a moment ago. Overcorrected a little bit, and then he locked the brakes up on and slammed into the inside retaining wall.
May not look like much, but he hit that wall a ton at some 120 miles an hour. Michael Waltrip trying to back that car back around toward turn 1. Still early on here. Let's take a look at the Goodrich crew. Lots of laps to come your way. Stay with us. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
I think all race fans remember this past spring when Michael Waltrip, exiting turn 2 at Bristol, hits the gate where vehicles go across the racetrack. The gate gave. Michael hit the abutment where the gate meets the retaining wall head on, tearing the car into several pieces. Fortunately, Michael was able to walk away. Since then, officials have changed the gate procedure. The gate used to be about 1,000 pounds. Now it's 2,000 pounds. They literally have to have a cable to pull the gate shut. There used to be 2 of these I-beams behind the gate supporting. Now there are 7 pieces trying to support it. I don't think that anyone is going to be able to get up next to this abutment again, and we're going to see the kind of crash that Michael Waltrip had. I sure hope not.
Just going back green. We do too, Benny Parsons. What a crash that was back in the spring. The most horrifying stock car crash we've ever seen. Well, we told you we'd hear a lot from the Goodrich Chevrolet driver, Dale Earnhardt. He's making some noise now.
And trouble down in turn 1, Jerry. Several cars, or at least a couple of cars. The car number 12.
Jeff Burton has come into heavy contact. That's the car prepared by Sam Ard.
Kenny Wallace and the car number 36 pulling away at the top of the screen. But yes, heavy damage to the rear of the Jeff Burton car.
Now the car number 12 has come into contact. That's the Armor Meats Food Lion Buick for Jeff Burton. Impressive young driver from Asheboro, North Carolina. And he is down with the rear tires on that gravel, as he will get attended to there, and the safety crews are there immediately. And just moments ago, Michael Waltrip had another tough break at Bristol International Raceway, and he's now standing with our Benny Parsons.
Michael, is this place not like you, or what's the problem?
I don't know, Benny. It's been kind of rough here. Just lapping a car, and he didn't know I was under him and came down and touched me, and I just couldn't keep up with my steering down the front straightaway, and it finally went around. I think you're probably going to see a lot more of that tonight. This place is, I felt like the top groove would come in. It hasn't. So we tore up our little Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac, but you know, we'll try to put her back together and race her again before the year's over.
What do you think, Michael, when you're coming off the corner, you get tapped, you go sideways, you save it, you go sideways, you save it. I mean, I saw you coming down the front straightaway. You looked like a black snake coming down through there, and finally it went around. Did you ever think you had it saved?
Every time. You know, I guess you never give up until you wreck, and I didn't think it was going to get away from me, but it did. These Busch Grand National cars are a little bit easier to hang on to than a Winston Cup car, but just this track's slick, man, and if you get sliding even on a straightaway, it's still slick, you know. Just because you do most of your sliding in the turns, that's where everybody thinks it's slick, but it's slick on a straightaway even, so that tells you how bad it is.
I saw when the car got sideways, I didn't think it was ever going to stop sliding.
Well, that's why they put up these concrete things, I guess.
Okay, Michael, thanks.
Thank you, Ben.
Michael Waltrip having trouble here. Car coming into contact with another slower car out of turn 4. He was running second. We are currently under caution for a problem down in turn 1, Ned.
Okay, here is Rick Mass. There's L.D. Ottinger in car number 2 going down into the turn. And the bottom left, here is the car number 34. No, the car number 12, just barely on the right side of the screen, and that is the Jeff Burton car, and slams hard into the wall. Kenny Wallace in the green and white car, the inside, and everyone else gets by.
Looked like Jeff Burton was trying to make a move underneath Jack Sprague as those two cars apparently coming together, and Jeff Burton gets the worst end of the deal. His Buick sitting heavily damaged down in turn 1, and the safety crews are still there working. We are under caution here again at Bristol International Raceway. The J. Johnson 250 top 10 again. Bobby Labonte showing the way. Stay with us. Busch Grand National Series event here tonight at Bristol International Raceway. Pontiac safety car leading him down the back straightaway. There are 20 cars still on the lead lap. The man who's showing the way, the car number 44, the Penrose Firecracker Oldsmobile for young Bobby Labonte, the younger brother of Terry Labonte, of course, who drives in the Winston Cup ranks. And back behind him, just 2 cars away, Dale Earnhardt, 2-time winner this year, as we're getting ready to go green. This crowd of over 40,000 on their feet. Lap 73, up 250. Car number 99, Tommy Ellis in second spot. Earnhardt really putting the pressure on him out of turn 4.
One of those high-pitched engines coming off of that turn. A sweet sound, Jerry. A lot of horsepower in these V6s. And Earnhardt now really putting the pressure on Tommy Houston. Robert Presley there in car number 59 is at least 1 lap down. There's trouble over in turn 3. Kenny Wallace in the Cox-treated lumber Pontiac. Kenny having his problems here tonight.
And we did not have a yellow flag, Ned. He got the car righted and refired, and the leader's coming up on him in a hurry. Bobby Labonte trying to move around. He will move to the inside of Kenny Wallace. Down in turn 1 and just squeezes by. Now it'll be up to Ellis, Earnhardt, and crowd. The next 2nd through 5th place cars to get by. Wallace would like to hold them off, but they dive beneath him, and Earnhardt gives Ellis a tap in turn 3.
And Tommy Ellis had to give Kenny Wallace a little bit of a tap. Wallace moved out of the way once he realized he was there.
Let's take a look and see what happened to Kenny Wallace in the backstretch.
He might have made contact with the car there, Jerry. It looked like he did, and the car just spun around going into turn 3 before he really got into the turn.
Apparently he did get some contact with some sheet metal damage on the left rear there. Now Earnhardt in the Goodrich Chevrolet. That is Robert Presley running with him. Now Presley not being shown on the lead lap. He is trying to get back in the lead lap.
In fact, he is 3 laps down, Jerry. He made an unscheduled pit stop for a change of tires. He had a tire go flat. And so he is 3 laps down now, but running very, very well.
There's Bobby Labonte. We mentioned he started on the front row here back in April. They did not qualify. He started by points, and he was the point leader.
But he earned the pole here tonight.
Whole line of cars back in the field. Now the car number 56, that is Dave Mader. He's actually our 4th place car, and they are trying to get around the Kenny Wallace car, which spun a minute ago and is now going a lap down. Wallace is pretty quick, and this is a 1-groove racetrack, at least a 1 fast groove. They're having trouble getting by him.
Yes, they are, but once if they get by him on the inside, there will be a train go by. Dave Mader now getting down on the inside, just getting a nose up there. He'll get him going into turn 3, but here comes Bobby Hamilton. Martin right behind him. There's a lot of cars that are running bumper to bumper back there, so Kenny Wallace is going to lose to all, or at least most of that group.
So once Dave Mader kicked the door open, everyone follows through. Hamilton gets by, Martin gets by, and now Kenny Wallace is back there as other cars move beneath. Davey Allison and Kyle Petty.
And let's look up front here as we watch that battle. Tommy Ellis has caught Bobby Labonte. Labonte had pulled away by about 10 car lengths, but now Ellis has caught him, and not too far behind is Dale Earnhardt. And Labonte slips a little bit, and Tommy Ellis goes by, so does Dale Earnhardt.
That may explain what the problem is. Labonte's car handling the handle going away quickly on his Oldsmobile. The car slipping and sliding down into turns. Tommy Ellis takes over the lead. The Goo Goo Clusters Buick. There is Labonte back in 3rd spot. And the lap car, Robert Presley. Tommy Ellis, 1988 Busch Grand National Series champion, showing the way here at Bristol International Raceway. Let's see the pass again.
Okay, Labonte goes into turn 3, but the car slips a little bit, and that's all Tommy Ellis needed. He just drove by on the inside. So did Dale Earnhardt in the Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3. So Labonte went from first to third there in just a matter of about 100 feet.
Tommy Ellis now trying to hold off Dale Earnhardt. And Ellis will take no corner on the short track, irrespective of who it is. There's a look at Tommy Ellis, driver of the car number 99.
Has one victory so far this year, but it was a big one at the new track up in New Hampshire, the New Hampshire International Speedway.
Up in Loudon, New Hampshire. In fact, when he won that race, he borrowed a crew chief. He borrowed David Ipp, the former veteran Winston Cup crew chief, who went with him, and he went able to win up there. Well, when he came here tonight, he called David Ipp and said, hey, how about coming up to Bristol and being my crew chief tonight and help me win it up there? And indeed, David Ipp is here, and it's working again for
yes,
Tommy Ellis.
David Ipp knows a lot about setting race cars up, and especially these later model bodies that they're running now in Busch Grand National competition. Earnhardt gets boxed in behind the car number 79 of Standard. And
Billy Standridge, the car number 47, one of the slower cars, one of the regulars in the Busch Series competition. Earnhardt losing about 3 or 4 car lengths as they go around the Patty Moise car.
But we're talking about David Ipp, Jerry. Tommy Ellis told me down there today, and Labonte really going backwards now as Davey Allison and Kyle Petty goes by. But Tommy Ellis told me today that David Ipp would be with him for most of the rest of the Busch Grand National races this season.
Well, with the kind of success he had earlier in the year in New Hampshire and the way he's running tonight, I would hang on to David Ipp for a long time. Earnhardt beginning to put the challenge up front as Bobby Labonte's really struggling back in the pack. Earnhardt is pulled down to within a few feet. And really dives to the bottom of the racetrack, takes the lead.
Yeah, Ellis's car got loose going into the turn, and Earnhardt just took advantage of it down in the inside groove, and look how much he pulled away just for that one little slip. I said at the top of the show, you couldn't afford to make a mistake, and Tommy Ellis just slipped a little bit. Bobby Labonte apparently is coming into the pits. Yes, indeed he is. And the Penrose Sausage is car number 44, and our Benny Parsons is there. Benny, a flat tire, what's the problem?
Man, they seem to think so. They've been waiting and waiting for a caution flag. It just wouldn't come. They're guessing that the right rear tire is flat. Bob Labonte, his dad has looked at the left side. They seem to be okay. They have changed the right sides. No, they're going to come and change the left side. So evidently, the left rear tire is flat. A very costly pit stop for Bobby Labonte.
Boy, it is a costly pit stop because they go around this track in about 17 seconds. And even if you make a very fast pit stop, which it looked like he made a good 4-tire change there in a relatively short period of time, but he's going to go down at least 2 laps.
Leaders coming up on Bobby Labonte, who was coming out of the pits down the back straightaway. And the leader's moving in a hurry. That is Dale Earnhardt, the Goodwrench Chevrolet, winner twice this year in Busch Series competition. Earnhardt having won earlier in the year at Daytona, the season opener, and also at Rockingham on ESPN. Earnhardt's car now beginning to bob and weave a little bit coming out of the turn, Ned.
I expect their tires are getting heating up. You remember when we talked to Michael Waltrip on the radio before his crash, he said if he caught a caution at about 75 laps, he was going to come in and get some new tires. Well, you know, we've gone almost 100 laps here now, so those tires have got to be getting worn and heated up.
Unlike the old 200-lap races they used to run here, where they could run the entire event without a pit stop, even though the tires were really iffy late in the race, and you could make it on fuel. You cannot make it on fuel now with a 250-lap race. It's about 133.5 miles. So you're obligated to make one pit stop for fuel, and why not change tires?
Sure, because the new tires will definitely run faster and stick better in the turns, a lot more comfortable to the driver, and they like that deal.
That's the 4th and 5th place cars. Bobby Hamilton, the car number 8, and Mark Martin all the way up from 25th starting spot, back in 5th place. Let's take a look at exactly what's happening to these tires here tonight. Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, simply a puncture. He ran over something on the racetrack and punctured the tire. It started losing the air very slow. A very slow leak. That's why he ran so many laps, hoping for a caution flag. The caution flag never came. There'll probably be lots of caution flags tonight, but not when Bobby Labonte needed one. Jerry.
Now while you know why we call this place Thunder Valley, because you literally cannot hear in the pit. Benny Parsons trying to be heard down there. The reverberation of these racing engines here creating quite a roar. There is Dale Earnhardt showing the way in the Goodwrench Chevrolet. Tony Urey and the crew preparing the car. This is the car that's owned by Dale Earnhardt, not to be mistaken with the Richard Childress car he drives on the Winston Cup ranks.
Or how about Teresa?
Well, actually, that's who owns the car. Teresa, his wife.
Teresa owns the car.
And he's got to be very careful not to get fired.
Yep, coming up to left Bobby Labonte, who was leading not too long ago, and he's not too far up ahead of Earnhardt there, and he would be 3 laps down. Running in second still is Tommy Ellis. Third is Dave Mater, the third. In fourth place, Bobby Hamilton. And fifth is Mark Martin.
Just past the 100 lap mark, Dale Earnhardt showing the way here at Bristol International Raceway. Exciting laps. Let's stay with us. Car number 3, that is Tom Peck in the blue, number 96. Bobby Labonte, our pole sitter, who has made an unscheduled stop and is now at least 2 laps down, trying to keep him going 3 laps down, trying to stay in front of Dale Earnhardt, just in front of Labonte. The white car to the left of your screen, the number 31, is Steve Grissom.
And Jerry, he is running in 17th position. There are 17 cars right now on the lead lap, but he is in danger of going a lap down to Dale Earnhardt, and we're talking about the car number 31 of Steve Grissom.
31 of Grissom. The 44 of Labonte, who is 2 laps down, who was the pole sitter. These two guys having a race between the two of them, but trying to hold off Earnhardt. Labonte trying to get beneath the Oldsmobile of Grissom. Those 2 cars down in turn 1. Earnhardt's got to be very careful not to get caught up in a crash. He moves beneath Grissom, who was the 17th place car, as you said, Ned. And now Grissom goes a lap down. Labonte's car back to speed and holding him off. Here's a battle back for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As the car number 1 of Mark Martin takes the 4th spot away from Bobby Hamilton. Now Martin in the Carolina Ford dealer's car number 1. Back behind them, a battle heating up between the car number 28 of Davey Allison and Rick Mass. Veteran Busch Series driver, now campaigning the Bobby Jones car in Winston Cup Racing. The 28 car, of course, is Davey Allison. He moves in on the car number 8 of Bobby Hamilton. Jack Sprague nearly getting up into Davey Allison. Sprague driving the car number 34. One of the new drivers here in Busch Series competition.
And Jerry, that car number 22 of Rick Mass, the Raven Boats Buick, was involved in one of the earlier crashes, and now he has moved up to 8th, and as Mark Martin now moves into 3rd around Dave Mater the 3rd.
This car number 1 is owned by Bill Davis, and they have finally gotten some of the performance parts from Ford to put a brand new V6 together. We are told this is one of the very strong Don Kowalski out of Lynchburg, Virginia Motors, and they were expecting this car to really run well tonight.
Well, it is doing right well, no doubt about it. There's Kyle Petty, car number 42, the split fire spark plug car. Joe Nemechek, car number 87, following him up through the pack.
Kyle Petty was being shown back in the 7th spot. Nemechek, rookie driver, coming over from the All-Pro ranks, where he was the All-Pro Series champion in the car number 87. Moving back
He's
up
running
front,
in 9th place.
Mark Martin back up in 3rd spot. He will be trying to hunt down Tommy Ellis, the 2nd place car. We mentioned the car number 1 of Mark Martin. Now there's back up front, you'll see Earnhardt. Earnhardt about a half a lap separating Earnhardt in the 3rd place car of Mark Martin. Our camera's able to cover this half-mile track pretty quickly to get an idea of the interval. Earnhardt now diving into turns 1 and 2. There's Earnhardt coming out of turn 4. Tommy Ellis, some 15 car lengths back in 2nd spot.
Maybe just a little bit more. He's about a full turn behind Jerry. As Earnhardt comes out of turn 2, Ellis was coming into turn 1.
And we're going to let you take a look and see if you can pick out your favorite driver. We will put a lap time on Dale Earnhardt, and we'll keep the camera right here looking down the front straightaway up toward turn 4. Cars coming by. Dale Earnhardt down in turn 3 and brings the car down out of turn 4. Now you see the black car on your screen. 17.4 seconds. Pretty good lap for Earnhardt.
Not a bad lap, as many laps as he has on those tires, Jerry. We've run about 117 laps now, nearing the halfway point of this race.
And Earnhardt now coming again out of turn 4. Take a look again at his lap time. Great crowd on hand here, and you see the field coming through what we call the field snapshot. Able to see all the cars coming by.
There was Mark Martin just went by. Then we saw Kyle Petty and Joe Nemechek. Here's Dale Jarrett. Jarrett now has moved back up into 11th position after being involved in that crash.
17.4. He's consistent.
Very consistent. And I'll tell you, that'll win you races, Jerry, to be running that fast after this many laps. But we noticed Bobby Labonte's car number 44 on the left of the screen there. Earnhardt was right on his bumper before they lapped Steve Grissom, and Earnhardt has not been able to move up and put another lap on him. In fact, it looks like Labonte might be pulling away just a little bit, but he's almost 3 laps down.
And they're heating up a battle for fourth spot. Dave Mader in the car number 56, driving the car formerly driven by Ronald Cooper. That's the Cooper-owned machine, trying to hold off the veteran Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton had won last year at Richmond, Virginia in this car. In his sophomore season in Busch Series competition, he was a 3-time Nashville Fairgrounds champion. Very accustomed to the high banks. Now, Dave Mader has run this track before, but not in a Busch car. Back in the early 80s, he won an All-American Challenge Series event here. Battles all over the racetrack. Here is Davey Allison in the car number 28. That's the brand new Chevrolet Lumina he's driving tonight. Red Farmer, the crew chief there, trying to hold off Rick Mass, the Raven Boats Buick.
Running 6th and 7th. Davey Allison running in 6th. Rick Mass, the Raven Boats Buick, running in 7th position.
Davey's new car, an Allison brothers car. Kenny, Ronald, and Donald Allison. They are the sons of Donnie Allison that have their own race shop there in Alabama, build race cars. Brand new Chevrolet Lumina there for Davey Allison.
There's going to be Allisons in racing for a long, long time to come, Jerry, and certainly they've been good for the sport.
Davey has to be pleased with the performance of that Chevrolet, the new Carl Wegner engine in tonight, the V6. And of course, Rick Mast running in 7th spot. We'll be getting to halfway next time by. 250 laps to the conclusion, 125 in the books. This time by as Dale Earnhardt has taken the halfway signal. There is Kyle Petty, the split fire Pontiac. That's the car wrenched by Jerry Kennan, who was a crew chief back in 1983 when Sam Ard won up here. Jerry Kennan, a veteran crew chief. Now preparing that car for Ted Conder and Kyle Petty. There's Joe Nemechek.
Running 9th place. L.D. Ottinger running in 10th place in the car number 2. He won the spring race here in a shootout with Dale Jarrett. And in fact, not far behind, L.D. Ottinger is Dale Jarrett, running in 11th place.
Of course, Dale Jarrett involved in one of the early crashes here. Leader now in heavy traffic. He is caught up on the inside of Bobby Labonte. Billy Standridge in the car number 47. Now he has to back off, and he will follow Labonte in the car number 44 around Standridge.
Well, that was a good, smart driving on Dale Earnhardt's part to back off when he got in that heavy traffic, not taking any unnecessary chances. He has a pretty good lead right now, even though Mark Martin is gaining on him a little bit. Mark Martin is about to catch Tommy Ellis, who is running in 2nd position, but Earnhardt just cooling it a little bit there. Let those cars sort of get sorted out. Now we see Tommy Houston in car number 6. Tommy is running in 14th position. He is the last car on the lead lap. Earnhardt just lapped Bobby Daughter a couple of laps ago, who is running in the 15th position. So 14 cars now on the lead lap.
And they're battling up front. Dave Resendez also in the lead lap in the 79 car, trying to move underneath Chuck Bound, our current point leader. So they're wrestling up front, trying to keep from Earnhardt, putting him a lap down.
If those are the 12th, 13th, and 14th place cars, Resendez now has moved up to the 12th position, moving around Bowen. But Chuck Bowen in danger of going a lap down.
And while Earnhardt is having trouble with traffic, Tommy Ellis is starting to close. Ellis has closed some 2 seconds off of the Earnhardt lead. There's Earnhardt in turn 1. He's got to be very careful to try to tiptoe. He now gets underneath the car number 44, Bobby Labonte, and in front of him, the current point leader, Chuck Bound, a 6-time winner in Busch Series competition here for 1990. There's Earnhardt, and there's Tommy Ellis.
And look at Mark Martin right on his bumper. Mark Martin has caught Tommy Ellis. That's a battle for 2nd position. Mark Martin in the Ford, running 3rd, but putting the pressure on Tommy Ellis.
And Bill Davis, who owns the car number 1, said they were hoping to run the full 1991 season. And now Mark Martin trying to move around the outside of Tommy Ellis. And Martin really flexing the muscle here in that Don Kowalski Ford V6. Yes, folks, a Ford V6 with the new products that they put out. One of the top performing engines here tonight. Car number 1. Now, we are told this afternoon that a gentleman by the name of Johnny Johnson, a dirt racer in Iowa, is building a shop for this team, car number 1. He is the owner of J&J Steel, and apparently this team of Bill Davis will run the 1991 season in all the Busch Series races. Back up front, Dale Earnhardt going around the car number 63. Laps the points leader, Chuck Bound.
And that is the 13th place car at the moment, Jerry, so putting a lot of cars a lap down.
Dale Earnhardt showing the way here at Bristol International Raceway. Just past the halfway point. It's going to get more exciting. Don't go away. Series race running 1 and 2. That's the way you'll see them start tonight at 7:30 for the Busch 500 on ESPN. The Winston Cup race, 500 laps, coming up your way later tonight, 7:30 p.m. Live coverage here. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, myself, and the big VP, Benny Parsons, will bring you all the laps here on ESPN. Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet, trying to pick up win number 3 here in the Busch Series competition for 1990.
Now, he has not made a pit stop. I think you were about to say that, Jerry. And a number of cars. Mark Martin has not made a pit stop there. He is running in second position. So they'll have one coming up probably within the next 15 or 20 laps. And if there's no caution, they might have to make one of pit stops under green.
Remember, they are V6 engines here. V6 engines get pretty good fuel mileage, so it will have to be a pit stop. They cannot go 250 laps. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, I talked to Tony Ure, the crew chief on Dale Earnhardt's Goodrich Chevrolet, and I posed that question to Tony, how far can you go? He said 200 laps. Can you believe they're going to try to run 200 green flag laps on a set of tires? Those babies will be worn out by the time we get here.
Well, I think you're right, Benny. I think they will be worn out, and as Jerry said, the V6s do get better gas mileage, of course, than the V8s that run here tonight. But here's Earnhardt trying to move around. Tommy Houston put the bumper to him there just a little bit, but couldn't quite make the move.
Now Tommy Houston, whose niece, Teresa, is Dale Earnhardt's wife. So it's all in the family there. Right. Tommy Houston trying to hold off Dale Earnhardt. And there's a battle for Davey Allison trying to hold off Rick Mast. Davey Allison in the white and red numeral Chevrolet Lumina, car number 28. Rick Mast, the Raven Boats Buick. And just ahead of them, Bobby Hamilton, the car number 8. He is in 5th spot. And in front of him, Dave Mader. Good run for Dave Mader, who has not run that many races this year in the car number 56. In fact, this is only his 5th start. We mentioned that Davey Allison driving a brand new Chevrolet. It's not a Ford, it's a Chevrolet. And of course, those of you familiar with Davey Allison's Winston Cup ride, he drives the Haviland Ford on Winston Cup races. Davey, how about it? You're driving a Chevrolet here? Why?
Well, I just don't have the access to the right pieces right now for a Ford, and I've invested so much money that I can't take the money out of my pocket to go build new cars just to be at a racetrack in a Ford. And as much as I'd like to be, you know, and be consistent with the Winston Cup car, I just haven't been able to have the right pieces that were competitive. And I have obligations to sponsors that I have to fulfill, to Humminbird and Action Vans and some other people that help us out. And I had to go out and build something that was competitive. And so that's why I'm here with a different brand of car. And we have been very competitive with it.
Indeed, they have. They started 21st back here with a brand new race car that Red Farmer has helped him put into a competitive mode. He is now being shown in 6th spot, and he is challenging up there the car number 8 of Bobby Hamilton for 5th.
He has steadily moved right up through the pack, and that's a good pack of cars that are running there. Right behind Allison is the car number 22 of Rick Mast, and then behind Mast is the car number 42 of Kyle Petty. They're all running 4 positions. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Kyle Petty running in the 8th position in car number 42, the Spitfire Spark Plug car. And he's about a half a lap behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Now remember, the leader has yet to pit. They cannot make it all the way. Benny Parsons talking about Tony Ure, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt, saying that they would try to make it at least 200 laps. Some of these V6s can go 200. In fact, one of the engine builders told me earlier today they could probably go 220 laps if they had to. That's really stretching it.
I think it would be stretching it too much, Jerry, because Tommy Ellis, in a track about this size at Myrtle Beach about a month ago, led a race, did not make a pit stop, and ran out of gas on the very last lap, and it cost him the race by not coming in and making a pit stop, and that was a 200-lap race. So I don't think I'd want to stretch it past 200 laps. 13 cars in the lead lap now. Dale Earnhardt, the leader. Mark Martin running second. Third is Tommy Ellis. Fourth is Dave Mater. Fifth, Bobby Hamilton. Sixth, Davey Allison. Seventh is Rick Mast as we watch this battle here. Kyle Petty in car number 42 running in the 8th position. L.D. Oninger 9th. Dale Jarrett 10th. O'Neill James 11th. Jimmy Hensley is 12th. And Dave Resendez is 13th. Those are the 13 cars on the lead lap.
And Dave Mater, 35 years of age, from Maline, Alabama, driving the car number 56. That's the Buick, formerly driven by Ronald Cooper. Does get together with Robert Presley, one of the lap cars. They bang on the sheet metal up in turn 4. Mater hangs on, and in fact pulls away by about 4 car lengths from the car number 8 of Bobby Hamilton.
Of course, Davey Allison keeps the pressure on Bobby Hamilton. That's Allison in the white. Car number 28, the Chevrolet. And there's Rick Mast in the blue and white car right behind him, and Kyle Petty is right behind him. So that's a good battle for the 6th, 7th, 8th position.
Bobby Hamilton, the subject of a lot of rumors about possibly a Winston Cup effort next year, running for Rookie of the Year. A lot of people like this young man. He's very impressive, running a Winston Cup car out at Phoenix last year when they were making the movie. He qualified in the top 10, so we might see him on the Winston Cup ranks next year.
Well, certainly that's what he would like to do, as most of these drivers, especially the younger drivers in the Busch Series, they would like to impress someone enough in this Busch Series to go into Winston Cup racing. And Bobby Hamilton certainly has the credentials. He would make someone a very good chauffeur.
Back up front, Dale Earnhardt really turning the wheel. You got a good shot of Earnhardt in there, swatting flies, they call it, inside there, really turning that steering wheel back and forth in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Moving in on the car number 79. That would be the 13th place car of Dave Resendez. The red and white numeral car number 79. It's to the left of your screen.
And the car number 25 of Jimmy Hensley. The Crown Petroleum Fast Fair car is right behind him. And here's Dale Jarrett and L.D. Oettinger, the Detroit Gasket Oldsmobile of L.D. Oettinger, car number 2. They've been battling. They're running 9th and 10th. Oettinger running 9th. And there's Jarrett in the Crunch car. Boy, he's got it named properly tonight.
That's appropriate, isn't it? Sure is. Good comeback for Dale Jarrett, being involved in an early caution, which was not of his own making, getting some heavy sheet metal damage on the car. That's how they finished here in the spring. In fact, L.D. Oettinger won the race, and Dale Jarrett finished second. But they are right now battling for 9th here, as we are in the late laps here at Bristol International Raceway. The J. Johnson 250.
And they're about 3/4 of a lap behind Dale Earnhardt. Jerry, they got some traffic a little bit ago. They were just a little more than a half a lap behind, but now Earnhardt is only about a 1/4 of a lap behind him.
Dale Jarrett has already made a pit stop by virtue of the fact that he was involved in that crash early on, changed some tires, put some fuel in the car, so he may be able to make it.
I doubt it, Jerry. That was on lap 12, and so that would be 238 laps. I don't think he can do it. He'll have to make another pit stop as well as the leader.
L.D. Oettinger, veteran driver from Newport, Tennessee, sort of the hometown driver up here, holding off. And there is the car number 1, the Carolina Ford dealers colors. Mark Martin driving the Ford out of the Bill Davis stable. Trying to move around the lap car now, Bobby Labonte.
Jerry, we're hearing that Mark Martin is watching his fuel gauge. They've run almost 170 laps now, 169 laps, but he wants to come in when Earnhardt does, so he can keep an eye on that Chevrolet. He's close enough now that he can see him up there, that he hopes that he can run as long as Earnhardt can on the fuel.
Remember, this is a brand new engine combination Don Kowalski's put together, not what they've run in the past. They got the new performance parts from Ford. They picked up about 25 or 30 horsepower. They had been running about 420 horsepower in the old Ford V6. They are now over 455, I am told, so that's certainly showing tonight. Back up front, there's Earnhardt.
This has to be a very encouraging to the Ford fans and those who are running Ford V6 engines to see Mark Martin running this well, although he has won a number of races in the Ford car in the Busch Grand National Series. In fact, I think he's the only driver who has won in a Ford in Busch competition. But I don't know that I've seen him any more competitive than we're seeing him run here tonight, especially in the horsepower department.
Well, the drama builds here, Ned, because Earnhardt and Martin and a number of the lead cars have yet to make an entry on the pit road. They are plotting strategy. Stay with us. We'll watch those pit stops when we come back. Dale Earnhardt, a 2-time winner in the Busch Series this year, trying to pick up his first short track win on this 31-race, $4 million tour. Here under the lights at the ultra-competitive Bristol Raceway. Laps are winding down. Earnhardt is yet to pit. he will have to make a pit stop for fuel. This 250-lap race, they have run 175 laps now.
Here's Kyle Petty reeling off into the pits. He was running in 8th place. Dale Jarrett had just gone around him, and Kyle Petty in for fuel and a change of right side tires. How about it, Benny Parsons?
That's exactly what they're doing. They're putting on right sides and filling the car up with fuel. The right sides are on. They're waiting for the gasoline. He's pulling away now.
Okay, he should be able to make it the rest of the way now, but how much time did he lose? He went at least 1 lap down and maybe 2. In fact, he did go 2 laps down as the leaders went by him as he was coming out of the pits. But now remember, they have a pit stop to make as well, and if they don't catch a caution, they might lose a couple laps too.
The word we're getting from the Earnhardt pit is they will probably have to pit at the latest around lap 195. That is some 17 laps, making 16 laps away. So we'll keep an eye. That's about all they could make it on the fuel. So we'll hear Dale Earnhardt. Let's check in on the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, you being a doctor, you might be familiar with the expectant father pacing up and down, trying to figure out what's going on. That's exactly what's going on in the Carolina Ford dealers pit, in the Martin pit. They're waiting on Martin every lap to come in the pits and make his stop, hoping that it's not going to happen, but knowing sooner or later Martin's going to come off the corner and say, I'm coming in, and they have to be ready.
Benny, that's exactly what's happening all up and down pit road. These crew chiefs are trying to decide if they make the call 1 lap too early and then the yellow flag comes out, it's over for their driver. Earnhardt now trying to hold on, maybe praying that someone will be able to make a bobble and get him a yellow flag and make this pit stop under yellow. Now, Wade's a tire rule, remember, so you can come in and put tires on the car, although the way that car is running, I don't know if they want to chance it or not. They may put 2, I guess, right side tires on it.
Yes, that is correct. Chuck Ballin, the point leader's in the pits right now, making a green flag pit stop. Let's see what they do to the Nescafe Pontiac. Looks like they're taking on right side tires on his car as well. And they'll put that Unical gasoline in there and have him ready to go the rest of the way.
Hubert and Jeff Hensley, the co-owners of that car, father and son team. And now you see Jeff Hensley whipping that air hose around the front of the car off the jack, and he is down and away.
Well, he was already 1 lap down, Chuck Ballin, so now he'll go at least 1 more or perhaps 2 more laps. And there's all the green flag pit stop. So LD Ottinger go by on the outside. LD currently running in the 9th position.
And there's our current point leader, who has not had the great run tonight that he would like to have had, although he's won 6 times this year on the short tracks. But there's the man they're chasing, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet, yet to make his pit stop. He'll have to be coming in the next 8 or 10 laps. Stay with us for the pit stops when we come back. Now Dale Earnhardt showing the way in the Goodrich Chevrolet. And Mark Martin brings the Carolina Ford dealers forward down pit road. Benny Parsons.
Jerry, finally at last, Martin makes a pit stop. As a matter of fact, I think the car missed coming off the second corner. I was concerned that Martin might not make it back, but he did. They changed the right side, filled it with fuel, also made a chassis adjustment, and he's waiting. 13.4, great pit stop.
Indeed, an outstanding pit stop for a Busch Grand National crew. And Martin entering, he's pitting in the backstretch. He's entering back in turns 3 and 4, coming up to speed. And now we're waiting for Dale Earnhardt to make his pit stop. We had been told that he would have to pit prior to lap 195 or right in that area, because that's about all the fuel they would have in the car. Earnhardt sitting there watching that fuel gauge.
Boy, what a yellow flag would do for him now that his biggest challenger, Mark Martin, has made a green flag pit stop. Earnhardt's praying for a yellow flag. Of course, he doesn't want to be the one that would bring it out. So
they are indeed. Redding is standing in the Earnhardt pit. You see Tony Urey and the crew there. That is standing there with the Goodrich uniforms on, waiting for Earnhardt to make an entry on the pit road. The Busch Grand National crew that fields the car for Dale Earnhardt, having won twice this year in competition at Daytona and Rockingham. Lap 191 in the books here. And remember, we were told that they would have to pit in the next 4 or 5 laps or risk a chance of sputtering this thing out of fuel and coughing it to quits here. Not being able to finish the race, Busch Series competition. Earnhardt showing as a leader. Tommy Ellis running in second spot in the car number 99. Mark Martin, of course, has pitted just moments ago. He has made his final pit stop.
He's at least 1 lap down, Jerry. We'll get the scoring here here in a little bit that he is at least one lap down to Dale Earnhardt.
And now the crew member is standing out on pit road with a big aluminum board, and they are calling Earnhardt to the pits. Apparently, they will have to bring him in under green. Lap 194. This will be the final lap. They can absolutely make it, so he will have to come down pit road. Here comes our leader, Dale Earnhardt, in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Tony Eury and the crew will go to work on that car. Looks like it'll be a right side tire change. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
That's right, Jerry. Right side tire change. Cleaning the windshield. Hank Jones trying to get the windshield cleaned off. Earnhardt frantically telling him, clean the windshield off. The car's full of gas. The tires are on, and Earnhardt is away.
And while he was in the pits, there was a near mishap off of turn 4. Kyle Petty almost got into the wall. Tommy Ellis almost got into the inside retaining wall, but Earnhardt comes out of the pits and back out into the running. Here's Tommy Ellis now coming into the pits. He had taken over the lead in the Goo Goo Custer's Buick.
Let's see if David Ipton, the crew now, will go to work on his car and change the right side tires on the former national champion.
Yes, they are changing the right side tires. They've handed Tommy something cool to drink and putting in the Unocal gasoline. They don't have to fill it up with gasoline, but they will go ahead and put in at least one full can. And you can see the gas man leisurely walk away. That's all they needed. Got the tires changed, and back out he goes.
14.6 seconds, a good stop for Ellis and the crew. He is back on the speedway. Now we're showing Ronald Cooper, the Ronald Cooper car with Dave Mader aboard as the leader.
We understand a moment ago when I mentioned that Tommy Ellis almost got into the inside retaining wall. He had made a commitment to come into the pit, but he saw Kyle Petty go to the outside wall. He thought there might be a caution, so he went another lap. And so that's why he didn't almost hit that bottom, but that's the reason it was.
Well, I'll tell you, there's the man that's showing the way now, Dave Mader in the car number 56. He'll have to make his pit stop very soon. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, you talk about some excitement. The Dale Earnhardt pit crew, as soon as their car went by, they started looking for the one car. They saw that he was about a straightaway behind them. They knew that they had beaten him out of the pit. And you talk about high fives. It looked like someone hit a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth with 2 out. It was fantastic.
It is a matter of pride for these guys to be able to win that race on pit road. And, of course, Earnhardt's crew, Tony Eury and the guys, trying to make a pit stop. There's the car number 1. Mark Martin has already been in for his 2 right side tire change and fuel.
And they're showing Dale Earnhardt in 6th position, Mark Martin in 7th position at the moment. Of course, as you mentioned, Dave Mader leading the race. Rick Mass is running 2nd. Dale Jarrett is running 3rd. And in 4th is Jimmy Hensley. And in 5th place is the car number 79 of Dave Resendez. You mentioned a moment ago about Dale Jarrett. I said he stopped on the 12th lap. Well, he came back in during another caution on lap 42. So he can go a little while before he'll need to come into the pits for gas.
Well, he may be able to make it. There is Dave Mader now, and only his 6th Busch Grand National start of the season, driving the Buick, car number 56. In fact, he had a great run at Myrtle Beach in only his 2nd start. He finished 6th. Hoping for the best finish of his career, and he brings the car down off a turn, and apparently he is out of gas. They have rolled the dice a little too long, and now Mader...
The car of Rick Mast into the lead. Now, he did stop earlier. He was involved in one of the crashes along with Dale Jarrett, so now Rick Mast has taken over the lead. Dale Jarrett is right on his bumper as we see Mader coasting around the racetrack. And boy, it gets long when you come around there. This is a short track, but when those cars zip by you the way they're going by him, and then knowing that you're going to lose some more time in the pit, that's heartbreaking.
Well, Mader had it happen at the worst possible place, just past the entrance of pit road. He was pitting in the backstretch, had to come all the way around and coast on a lap, and the crew now putting fuel in the car. But an impressive performance tonight for the 35-year-old Maitland, Alabama driver. Now there are the front 2 cars. Rick Mast, the Raven Boats Buick, car number 22. And just behind him, the Nestle's Crunch car for Dale Jarrett, running 1st and 2nd.
Now they should be able to run at least another 20 or maybe 30 laps if they indeed have to come in at all. I think they both pitted on those lap 42 or sometime in that area, so they should be able to run them off.
Both those cars were involved in an early mishap that was between Ernie Irvin and Tommy Houston, and so they had made unscheduled stops to try to get some of the sheet metal pulled away from the tires. So they might just be able to make it. We'll have Benny Parsons check in to see if they can indeed make it, but laps are winding down. We'll see possibly if Rick Mast and Dale Jarrett can hold on. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. 40 laps to go in the Jay Johnson 250, a 250 lap Busch Grand National Series event under the lights here in Thunder Valley at Bristol Raceway. And they're the lead cars. Now Bobby Hamilton
trying to keep him going a lap down, Jerry, in the car number 8.
He's the last car on the lead lap, currently being shown in 8th spot, and right behind him is our leader, Rick Mast, in the car number 22. Mast has got the win this year in Busch Series competition at the pair of 4ths up at Oxford and South Boston, Virginia.
Dale Jarrett did win at Charlotte, North Carolina, back in May.
We're hearing that some of these guys may have to make a pit stop in about 5 or 10 laps. The field getting very, very close. John Irvin, of course, making the call down in the Dale Jarrett pits, the veteran John Irvin, who was your crew chief and crew member for a number of years, Ned.
Yeah, John's been with the family for a long, long time. He's certainly been good to the Jarrett family. And it looks like their tires are getting pretty well heated up too, Jerry. And it looks like Rick Mast is coming into the pits. So Rick Mast gives up the lead to Dale Jarrett now. The Raven Boats Buick in. Let's see if they're going to change tires. No, they're just going to put some fuel in that Buick and send him back on his way.
And Timmy Jones and the crew just adding some fuel to the car, about 5 or 6 gallons, 6.3 seconds, and Mast is down and away. He will drop out of the top 5, coming back up to speed in turn 1. Dale Jarrett will now assume the lead.
Well, here comes Jarrett now off of the turn. We'll see if he's going to be able to put a lap on Rick Mast. I don't think he will be, as we watch Jarrett going into turn 3, though Rick Mast is up in front of him about, well, you can see the distance there. That's Bobby Hamilton in between. Here's Rick Mast, and we understand that Dale Jarrett will be coming in at 5 laps. So there's Rick Mast, and then Bobby Hamilton, and then Jarrett is behind to Bobby Hamilton. So Rick Mast did stay in the lead lap by just taking on fuel. That means still 8 cars, Jerry, on the lead lap.
Laps are winding down here at Bristol International Raceway. There's Dale Earnhardt. We have trouble here. Jimmy Hensley spinning in the front stretch in the cloud of smoke, trying to keep the car, and Hensley gets the car stopped. Both feet on that brake pedal, and the car slides to a halt. Caution flag. And Dale Jarrett will make that pit stop.
And Tommy Ellis raced me back to the line, but didn't quite make it. Boy, Tommy Ellis tried to get back in the lead lap, tried to pass Dale Jarrett coming off of turn 4, but didn't quite get back in the lead lap.
Now, Jimmy Hensley was a second-place car. He was right behind Dale Jarrett when that car got out of control coming out of turn 4, and he broad slid the car some 150 feet, kept it out of the inside retaining wall. Caution flag now being shown for the 6th time today here at Bristol International Raceway. And there's the Fast Fair Igloo Oldsmobile for Jimmy Hensley, likable driver out of Virginia. Let's take a look again at what happened to Hensley.
Okay, you see the blue car coming into your picture down on the inside and trying to get on the inside of L.D. Ottinger's car, it looked like. And they might have touched, or Hensley just might have, the car broke loose. And a lot of pit action here now as all the Busch Grand National drivers pitting on the front stretch, and they're in for what should be their last pit stop.
Car number 32 also in the pits. He's in the pits in the backstretch, and so is Earnhardt. There's Earnhardt coming in. Davey Allison is behind him in the car number 28. And they were changing tires and some contact in the back pits. It looks like Billy Standridge is car number 47 coming just by Dale Jarrett. Behind him now has got some sheet metal damage, and they will change 4 tires in the Dale Jarrett car. Kenny Knupp, John Irvin and the crew there working on that car. There's Earnhardt's crew moving out. There's Davey Allison, Kyle Petty. They have changed tires. So it is going to be a shootout here. 6 caution flag, and almost everyone has been in the pits and has 4 fresh tires and fuel. 30 laps to go. It's going to be a trophy dash. Don't go away. It's going to get exciting here. Stay with us. Hi for the J. Johnson 250. There's Dale Earnhardt making his way toward the front. Car number 31 being shown as the leader. That is Steve Grissom. They will not get the green flag this time. The yellow flag is waving, Ned, as the laps wind down. Now, it is really going to be a shootout. Everyone has been in the pits, Ned, and then changed tires. Fresh rubber.
They do have, and it should be a shootout there. Some of the cars were out of place, and that's the reason we didn't get the green flag this time. NASCAR will try to get them squared away, and they're giving them the 1-lap signal this time around. And we'll let them go through the picture here so you can see where your favorite driver is on the racetrack. We can tell you that Steve Grissom is leading the race. Dale Earnhardt is running 2nd, Rick Mast 3rd, Dale Jarrett 4th, and Bobby Hamilton 5th.
They are showing 8 cars on the lead lap here as the drivers now weaving back and forth, trying to get a little heat in those new tires and get them brushed off nice and clean. Pontiac safety car now. Now, because of the speed on this track, the fast cars are in the inside lane. Don't be confused by that. Fast cars, the car number 31, Grissom, our leader, having won 2 of the last 3 events. And Tommy Ellis who certainly could have an impact on who wins it here. He is a lap down. Watch Earnhardt. He's laying back, waiting to get a running start on Grissom. The safety car is off, and Grissom hits the pedal and pulls away out of turn 4. Pretty good move for Steve Grissom. He got him about a car length and a half out of turn 4, and now pulls him by another car length coming off 2.
Yes, he did. He got a good start. But look at Earnhardt run in on the turn. Earnhardt, I believe, has fresher tires than does Steve Grissom. I'm sure that Steve's got 4 fresh tires. That could make a difference.
Coming out of turn 2, Earnhardt now right on the rear bumper. That Chevrolet, the Goodrich Chevrolet, trying to make a move inside the Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile. Earnhardt can't quite do it, nearly loses control, and Rick Mast takes the move inside Earnhardt in the front stretch.
Good move by Rick Mast. He took advantage of the slip by Dale Earnhardt when Earnhardt tried to take the lead. Now Earnhardt running in 3rd place, so he not only has 1 car to pass, he has 2 cars to pass to get back up to the front. Indeed, going to be able to do it. That's Tommy Ellison, car number 99. He's running a lap down. He is currently shown in the 9th position. The car is on the lead lap.
And Rick Mast making a move inside to take the lead. Let's take a look here. Earnhardt just trying to get beneath the car number 31 net, and the car gets out of shape.
Yes, it does, and he has to back off there for a moment, and that let Rick Mast slip back on the inside. But now that has changed up front again, and here's trouble on the front straightaway. Robert Presley spinning around. There's a lot of smoke.
Jack Sprague in the car number 34 also involved, and we have the caution flag. A couple of cars coming into contact. That's Kenny Wallace again tagging the wall, trying to avoid the spinning cars. And a cloud of smoke here in the front stretch of field now winding their way through. We will have caution again. That is a bit of break for Bobby Hamilton, who'd made an unscheduled pit stop. There is Jack Sprague in the car number 34, the Frank Cece Racing Buick. That car sustaining some sheet metal damage in the right front. He will make his way around to the pit.
Well, that unscheduled pit stop for Bobby Hamilton, Jerry, was for jumping the flag, passing on the wrong side. And it looks like Earnhardt, they have a little damage to his car there. We'll be going back to green here very shortly, though.
Getting ready to go back to green here just a little bit, where it's going to be a trophy dash to the finish. Can Earnhardt catch him, or can Rick Mast hang on? Stay with us. Raceway, Pontiac safety car leading the field. Let's take a look again at what happened to bring out this latest yellow flag.
Well, they're coming off of turn 4 down the front straightaway, and the car number 34 of Jack Sprague and the car number 59 of Robert Presley apparently getting together as they came off of turn 4, spinning down the front straightaway.
Green flag set to come out. 229. It'll be 230 laps complete this time. It'll be a 20-lap dash. Rick Mast really showing some short track driving prowess, making a move, take the lead, and he will lead them down to the green flag. 230 laps. That is Mast. In the white and blue numeral Raven Boat Buick, car number 22, and right behind him is the car number 28. That is Davey Allison. He is not on the lead lap. He is one of the lap cars. Behind him is the car number 3 of Dale Earnhardt, which is the second place car.
Well, Dale Jarrett made a good move on the restart, got by Steve Grissom and moved up into 3rd position.
There's Earnhardt, the second place car, trying to move underneath or by the lap car of Davey Allison. Mast the leader. Then comes the lap car of Allison, number 28, the 3 of Earnhardt, running second overall. Then the car number 44 to the right of your screen, showing at least 2 laps down. That's Bobby Labonte.
And he lost those 2 laps with a green flag pit stop back in the race. He eventually went 3 laps down.
Back there, Tommy Ellis now beginning to try to work. Field really getting jumbled up there, racing for position. 25 and 63, that is the car number 63 of our current point leader, Chuck Bound, the 25 of Jimmy Hensley. Right ahead of them, of course, in front of them is Tommy Ellis. Tommy Ellis in the car number 99, and Dave Resendez in the 79. Ellis currently being shown 5th overall in the point standings.
9th in this race. Jerry, 1 lap down. Resendez in the car number 79 that Ellis is following is in the lead lap, currently being shown in the 5th position.
Rick Mast trying to hold him off. He has never won at Bristol International Raceway. His best finish here coming back in March of 1985 when he finished second.
He has built a good lead over Dale Earnhardt. There he is, the Raven Boats Buick.
There's Mass. We'll take a look back to Earnhardt now, almost a straightaway behind. Earnhardt has not been able to reel him in. There's Bobby Labonte, who is third in points, and
he just drove around Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt's got a problem.
He is flowing. The Goodrich Chevrolet is showing a lot of smoke. And you see parts coming from beneath the car, and he will pull it down off the track. Dale Earnhardt's evening is over here. Less than 15 laps to go. In fact, just 12 laps to go.
And the caution is out. Apparently, he spread some oil on the racetrack, so the caution is out.
Well, you could see the parts coming from beneath the car as he went into turn one. Apparently, the engine erupting, and you saw some of the debris come out from under the car. He will take the hard left-hand turn behind the wall and call it a night. Let's take a look again. Earnhardt's car not running up to par, and you will see Bobby Labonte just easily move beneath Earnhardt. A little puff of smoke from the left side exhaust.
Yes, and Earnhardt gives Labonte room down on the inside, and then let's watch it as he comes down the front straightaway here. We'll see smoke, and then we'll see parts come out from under the car. There's the smoke, and there's some parts coming out from underneath the Goodwrench Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt. So his night's over, just 10 laps from the end.
Just 10 laps to go here at Bristol International Raceway, the J. Johnson 250. Can Rick Mast hold on? Possibly Dale Jarrett will have a shot at him. Stay with us for the exciting conclusion when we come back. 1 through 5, Houston running in the 5th spot. And 6 through 10, Mark Martin being shown in the 6th. Hamilton, Allison, Ellis, and Hensley in the top 10. The point standings in Busch Series competition after 22 events. Chuck Bound a commanding lead over Jimmy Hensley. Bobby Labonte in 3rd. Tommy Houston and Tommy Ellis the top 5. And that could jumble up tonight. People having some trouble here at Bristol International Raceway. Final laps coming your way when we come back after this. Still has the lights ablaze. A lot of speedy dry has been put down in turns 1 and 2, Ned, for the blown engine of Dale Earnhardt.
That low groove that they've been using going into that turn, they better not get their left wheels down on that quick dry, Jerry, because it will be very slippery, so they'll have to stay above that. Be very careful. They're getting the signal for one more lap to go. We'll be back to green flag racing.
At the top of the show, we talked about survival, how important it was. It's sort of like WrestleMania. The one guy left standing at the end is the winner. Well, early on, Rick Mast was involved in a crash, as was Dale Jarrett. They were involved in a 5-car crash out in turn 1, and they're the 2 guys that everyone's chasing now to the checkered flag.
Running 1st and 2nd. You know, when we saw them sitting down on the racetrack with their cars banged up, and Jarrett's in particular, a lot of crunch on his crunch Pontiac, but yet there they are running 1st and 2nd. You never know.
And as they stand right now, of course, there is Rick Mast, our leader. Of course, behind him, the crunch car. That's the Pontiac of Dale Jarrett in 2nd spot. Then comes the Oldsmobile, car number 31 of Steve Grissom. Then comes the car number 79. Good run for Dave Resendez. Excellent run for that driver. And then back, of course, in 5th spot, Tommy Houston, the veteran driver, 45 years of age, having won 4 times this year on the circuit. And they're back to green flag racing. It'll be 7 laps to go here at Bristol.
Rick Mast got himself a good jump there. Got Davey Allison between himself and Dale Jarrett, which is a good move. Now Davey Allison trying to get back in the lead lap, but Rick Mast holds him off coming through turn 4.
An outstanding move by Mast. Mast really pulling away now. He has a car linked on Davey Allison.
Yeah, when there's less than 10 laps to go, you want to get yourself a good lead like he did. Rick Mast is very heads-up driving there on the restart. Jumped Dale Jarrett, and Jarrett sitting back there with the car between he and the leader, trying to hold off the car number 31, Steve Grissom, who is running in 3rd place.
There's Dale Jarrett back in 3rd. Steve Grissom is in 2nd. Steve Grissom is a 3rd place car. Behind him, the lap car of Bobby Labonte. Rick Mast has yet to win this year on the Busch Grand National Tour. Has yet to win at Bristol International Raceway. He has 6 career wins in Busch Series racing. His last win coming July of 1989 up at Pulaski County Speedway, Dublin, Virginia.
There'll just be 2 laps to go when he comes around this time.
There's the battle back for the 4th spot. Car number 79, Dave Resendez, trying to hold off the veteran Tommy Houston. Houston in 5th.
There's Mark Martin in 6th place in the car number 1. He just wants to get up there to them, but the lap car of Tommy Ellis is between them, and Ellis is running good.
White flag for the car number 22, Rick Mass. Final lap for the 33-year-old Rockbridge, Mass, Virginia driver. Trying to take the Raven Boats Buick to victory lane for the first time in 1990. Headed smoothly into turns 3 and 4, some 10 car lengths over Dale Jarrett. And Rick Mass will take the win at Bristol International Raceway. Dale Jarrett finishes second. Steve Grissom is third. And Dave Resendez holds off the challenge of Tommy Houston to finish fourth.
Well, we expected a lot of action and excitement, and we got it, Jerry.
And now the Raven Boats crew celebrating there behind the wall. Rick Mass, one of the most likable drivers in the Busch Series, and of course is trying to make the move into Winston Cup. Just got the Eddie Jones ride. Rick Mass, winner of the J. Johnson 250, will make the hard left-hand turn into victory lane, becoming the 12th different winner here in 1990 in Busch Series competition.
See some battle scars on the right side of that Buick as he pulls her into the gas pumps.
They take these cars directly to the gas pumps for a reason, Ned, and of course the Busch Series officials are there. They have the cars filled up and they will weigh them to make sure that everything is completely legal, because weight's so critical on the short track.
And of course they do that before they take them to victory lane, because when you get in victory lane there's a lot of people in there, and you know, the car should be a little light. Somebody could slip a little weight in it, so NASCAR guards against that by bringing him to the scales first, the gas pumps, filled up the gas, and then they'll weigh the car.
And Rick Mast winning the J. Johnson 250 here, and the crew awfully happy. Man Apperson, Timmy Jones, and the rest of the Raven Boats crew there celebrating with their driver. We'll be back with a victory lane comment after this. The J. Johnson 250 is history, and our winner standing by for the Sears Road Handler Winner Circle interview with Benny Parsons.
Rick Mast, every time I've talked to you this year, and I've talked to you quite a bit in this role, you as the driver and me as the TV commentator, and every time I've talked to you, it's been a crash or a blown engine. I didn't think we'd ever meet in victory lane.
Benny, nobody has accused us of running slow this year. The last 4 months, I'm telling you, this Raven Boats Buick has been fast, just like tonight. But, you know, when the checkered flag fell, I was still out there. I had 4 tires pumped up. I wasn't wrecked. Nothing was blown up. Everything was in good shape. So many people stuck by me this year. You know, we've had so much adversity. Glenn Doyle with Raven Boats has been behind me. Jim Ruggles with the Buick engines. Buick, Goodyear. I can't say enough for, and most of my family, my help, my crew. I'm really tickled for everybody.
That had to be a big step last winter when you left the team you've been driving for and started your own team. Had to be an awfully big move on your part.
Well, I left security. You know, Benny, I don't know. A lot of people say, boy, you're crazy, but I had to do it. There's nothing. There was no other way out of it. I left a good-paying job, a competitive race car, really for nothing. I didn't have anything. 4 weeks before Daytona, Raven Boats came on board. Buick, Jim Ruggles, everybody got behind me. My crew got behind me, and here we are. We should have had 5 or 6 wins by now, but I'm just tickled to death right now.
Sharon, let me ask you something. Were you about to kill him when he decided to leave all that security last winter?
I'm always behind him, no matter what he does.
See you there, Benny? We'll hear a different story when I get home. It's about time, Rick.
Yeah, that's right. We're in victory lane now, Sharon, but congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, one happy family. That's Rick and Sharon and little Ricky Mast as they are in victory lane here, picking up the first win of the year for the Busch Series competition for that driver in the Raven Boats Buick. Top 20, let's take a look at how they finished behind him. Dale Jarrett finishes in second spot. Steve Grissom is third. Dave Resendez a great run for fourth. And Tommy Houston is fifth. 6 through 10. Mark Martin coming back for a 6th place finish. Bobby Hamilton, Davey Allison, Tommy Ellis, and Jimmy Hensley hanging on to the points there. 11 through 15. Dave Mader, L.D. Ottinger, Bobby Dotter, Joe Nemechek, and Bobby Labonte. 16 through 20. Kyle Petty, Chuck Bound, Robert Presley, Billy Standridge, and Kenny Wallace rounding up the top 20. The current point standing, Chuck Bound still hangs on to the lead. Jimmy Hensley's in second. Labonte is third. Tommy Houston fourth. And Steve Grissom will move into 5th spot by virtue of that 3rd place finish here tonight. We'll be back with more from Bristol International Raceway as Rick Mast celebrates in victory lane, having won the J. Johnson 250. Standing by with Benny Parsons.
Dale Jarrett, almost.
Yeah, we finished second here twice this year in the Busch Grand National Series with this Nestle Crunch Pontiac, but You know, the wreck we got into early, I kind of had it missed, and somebody hit me from behind and messed up the car a little, and had to give the crew a lot of credit again. I tell you, they worked hard back there just getting it to where we could race, and we came close to getting lapped a couple times before we kind of got it fixed, and just went on, and you know, the car ran pretty good after that. It was bothering it a little bit, but I got to congratulate Rick Mass. He drove a heck of a race. You know, he was in part of that wreck down there too, and he's been due a long time. He's run awfully well this year, and not to have had a lot of victories.
You know, Dale, the caution flag that you thought had made your day really didn't make your day, did it?
No, it really didn't there. It sure didn't. You know, it just, you know, that's the way it happened. That last caution, we took on 4 tires, but pitting on the backstretch, I went from first to 4th or 5th there, and that's just the breaks of the game, you know. You have to play it by the rules, and that's the way that it happened. And I think the stagger closed up a little bit and made me a little tight to where I couldn't make a run at Rick there. But, again, I don't know if I could have done anything with him. But, you know, these guys are taking this crunch on the side of my car a little too seriously the last few races here. I think they're supposed to aim at that and do something about it. But, you know, again, I'd like to congratulate my crew. They did a good job, led by John Irvin. And, you know, we'll take second. We'd like to have a win, but, you know, we won in Charlotte this year, so we'll just take anytime you can come away from Bristol 2 times in a row with second, it's not too bad.
All right, now tonight you get to run 500 laps in a Winston Cup car. Is that car running well enough to win?
Yeah, it is. You know, we ran well here in April, the first time that I drove the sit go forward, and we qualified 9th, and you know, I'm looking to have a good run there. It's going to be a long night. The track, I think, is in better shape than it was here in April. It's going to be a couple of grooves, and
this is
I really feel like
ESPN,
that
the
Bob
Total
Johnson
Sports
has got
Network.
a good setup there, and Leonard Wood's got me a good engine, so I'll be ready to go.
Folks, here's a guy that would probably be happy with a second place today, but he wants a victory.
Indeed, he would like one, Benny. A great effort, showing a lot of maturity coming back from that early lap crash. And there they are celebrating in victory lane. Rick Mass picking up his 7th career Busch Series win, the first win of 1990 for the Raven Boats crew. And the young driver from Rockbridge, Bass, Virginia, just 33 years of age. An impressive run here tonight in the J. Johnson 250. A lot of racing action coming your way later tonight, live here from Bristol International Raceway.